the Chirp YouTube channel. I'm here with some more toy house tips for you on how to play with kids with autism at a moderate level. Last time I was here, we talked about a beginner level with this particular toy item, and today we're taking it up a notch. At the moderate level, your child is a little more verbal, a little more interactive, but may tend to still be kind of rigid and may not really particularly want you to be there playing with her. We have to convince the kid that we are super fun, playing with toys is super fun, especially if there's another person involved. My very first tip is to repeat whatever the child says, but enhance it. Agree and amplify. For example, if someone says, "Dad," you can say, "Tall dad," or "Nice dad," or "Grumpy dad." It's really fun if you are very expressive. If dad is grumpy, then you can bring another character in too and interact with the grumpy dad. "Dad, don't be grumpy." "I can't help it." It's very funny for kids to be dramatic, and especially sometimes to act out being grumpy or doing the wrong thing, doing a naughty thing, being a bad guy. It's fun to be able to do that in play, because in real life we get in trouble. But in play, it's funny. My next tip is to hold the child accountable for what she says. For example, if you ask the child, "Chair or couch?" "Daddy, chair or couch?" and she says couch, then don't let her take the chair and sit the daddy in it. This is important because we want the child's words to connect to meaning. As I mentioned in the last video, it can be very challenging for kids to participate in social play activities. Play is a difficult area where kids with autism usually have a weakness. Communication also is an area where there is weakness by definition in the diagnostic criteria, as are social skills. So we want to make sure that we are helping in the areas of weakness and not pushing too hard. But this kind of accountability is one that is very gentle and also very helpful, because it reminds the child, my words have meaning, which is very important to people with any sort of communication disorder and also social skills issues. If you say chair, I'm going to give you the chair because your words are important. I'm listening to your words and they mean something to me. It's not just gibberish. It's not just you reproducing words that you heard somewhere else. A lot of times in the beginning play levels, kids will have rote phrases that they repeat. For example, they might get the mom up in the morning. Oh, this is not the mom. Mom's in the car. Well, they might get the sister up in the morning and say, "Time for school." She might go out the door and go to school. This is not exactly communication. It is a rote phrase. Usually it's not used freely and playfully. It's usually used in a rote manner. Wake up, time for school, go out the door. It's a repetitive sort of language use. We want language use to be free. We want it to be meaningful. We want it to be easy. We want it to be flexible. And so we have to make kids realize that the words actually mean something. Kids often, in their early stages of play and the early stages of language development, will often use scripts or phrases from movies, sometimes books if they've been read a lot, usually movies. They will use those in daily life. Sometimes they mean something. For example, I knew a young man long time ago when Monsters Inc. first came out. Every time something would go wrong in his life, he would shout, "2319! 2319!" I hope I got the numbers right. But if you saw the movie, you get the idea. 2319 was a big bad alert and everyone dropped everything and fixed the problem immediately. So when he shouted that, that meant everyone needs to drop everything and fix this problem. There might be putting on my shoe, or I might have to go to the bathroom, but whatever it is, it's an emergency. And that's what that meant to him. It meant it's an emergency. And as cute as that was, we needed to work on that because that phrase doesn't mean anything to your traditional listener. I guess another kid might think it was a joke, but typically we need to teach him to say, it's an emergency, I need help, instead of saying 2319. So we want to make sure we do that with our kids too. And that is one of the purposes of holding them accountable. If the kid during a play activity said 2319, I would have another character come running over and say, you sound upset. Maybe you could say, I need help. And then the kid would probably say, I need help. And then we could work from there. It's a good way to practice. My next tip is to make sure that the people are interacting with each other. This, at the moderate level, is where we want to really focus on having stories that involve the people talking to each other, doing things together. There can be a bad guy, there can be a grumpy dad, there can be a sister who does the wrong thing all the time and is mean to the baby. The baby can fall out of the swing and they have to go to the doctor. Be imaginative. Use situations that might actually happen in your real life. Sister comes home from school and someone was being mean to her. And mom can help talk her through how to talk to the teacher, what to tell the mean girl. Dad can call the teacher and just let her know what's going on. You know, whatever you think is good to teach your kids about what to do in this situation, it's good to practice it and to think about it before it actually happens. Or maybe it is happening and you want to use play to work out some of the solutions that you could possibly use and that you want your kid to know. My last tip for our moderate play for children on the autism spectrum with a toy house is to mess with the kids' preferred routine. Once again, we don't want things to be rote. We don't want the kids to have a ritual that they open up the toy house. Dad always sits at the kitchen table. Mom always sleeps in the bed and the baby is always in the swing. We want there to be interaction between the people. So, as I mentioned in the previous video, have a natural disaster, have there be a storm, have there be an earthquake, make someone call and say, help, I crashed my car outside your house, I need help, I need a ride to the doctor. Make things happen so that play is not boring, so that your kid gets a better example and a better practice at responding to lots of interesting situations rather than just doing the same thing over and over and over, which is not all that helpful and which is not how other kids play. We also are helping, in my field we call this scaffolding. If the kid is playing at this level, which is not very socially engaged, not very communicative, but we come alongside, we provide a scaffold. We kind of help hold the kid up at a higher level of play. So we're providing some of the situational contexts. We're providing some of the, perhaps some of the language that we think would be appropriate for a character to say. We're providing some of the structure of the flow of the play. This helps the kid to actually be able to play at a little bit higher level. So we always kind of want to be bumping that up, which means that the kid will be more likely to be able to play successfully with other kids who maybe don't even have the same kind of developmental delays that this particular kid does. We are trying to boost skills so that this child doesn't have social difficulties more than just the social deficits that happen in an autism spectrum disorder. I hope this was helpful to you. Once again, I will be back next time with our advanced play video for kids with autism with a toy house. I hope that you are having a great day. Keep yourself healthy and happy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.